Now let's talk about global states. This is very important when you're developing a big web application, because global states, it allows you to have a core state, and you would require other, sometimes you need other views to be connected to one single state, and it makes it having sharing this singleton state is going to be a headache. So with using a global state like Alpine provides, with this provider, global state provider, it makes it so much easier, because now you can link all the views to one core state. So let's go ahead and talk about and discuss this global state in Alpine. Let's initialize our global state. So in order to do this, let's remove this old data for usable data. And now let's have alpine.store, so we can basically initialize our store. Again, we have to wrap this inside the event listener, which is alpine initialize. So we want to check if alpine has been initialized, and then we can basically apply our alpine code. Now we want to have so we want to use a store for tabs. So we want to know which tab is currently open. So we will have, so the current tab is first, which is the first tab that is open. So again, we will have objects, and inside this object is going to be the state, the global state. So we're going to have current is first, and the items that are available, we're going to have an array after that, items, and we're going to do first, second, third. So 3 strings, first, second. And now we can access this state. So to do that, let's make a div. Let's make a new div now. Let's remove the old stuff that we explained. Okay, so we'll make a new div. We give it x data. And inside this, we're going to have a template tags inside this. And inside the template tags, we're going to have a x4. So we can basically see the tab and the items. So we have 3 tabs. We have first tab, second tab, and third tab, as you can see in the items. So as you can see, we have initialized the tab's global state, and the object that it's linked to, has a current variable, which is first, and it has an items array, which is first, second, and third. So what we want to show you as well, we can access the global store using so right over here we want to loop over the items array. So in order to access the global store, we can use the magic variable store. So it's going to be just like in PHP, we're going to have a store. So we're going to use the $, and then we'll say store. But first we're going to do this. So we want to do for each tab in store tabs.items. So in order to access the global state tabs, we have to call it by its name, which is tabs. And then the items that are inside that tabs, we'll just do items, which is basically as it's inside the tabs global state. And we can basically access it that way. Now for each tab, we want to print it in a h1. And we want to basically put in the tab, we'll do text. So we'll do x text, the tab. And let's see how that works. Let's save it. As you can see, we have first, second, and third. And now we want to have, after this template, we want to have a div that has 3 buttons. So those 3 buttons will allow us to change the tabs. Now for this div, we're going to use x data, so we can use the Alpine functionality, and we're going to have 3 buttons. So let's do the first one, and each button is going to set the current tab. So the first button is going to set the current tab to first, the second one is going to set it to second, and the third one is going to set it to third. So let's do, so when we click this, we want to do store.tabs.currents. We want to make it first, equals first. Now we're going to copy and paste this 2 more times. Let's make the text a bit smaller so you can see. Okay, that's good. So we're gonna have. So now we're gonna copy paste it one more time, and the second one is going to be second, and the third one is going to be third. Now let's save it and let's open it. As you can see, we have three buttons. Let's give it a name. So first tab, second tab, third tab. And now let's save it. We should have these buttons now. Now what we want to do is, if we click on the first tab, then we want to make the first highlighted red. If we want to click on the second, when we click on the second tab, then the global state will have second tab as the current tab, and it should show that the second tab is red. So whichever current tab so whichever of the items is the current one, then we want to make it red. That's what we're going to do now. In order to actually do this, let's have a class, a variable class. So this class would basically check if the clause is correct, then it will apply the current class, which is text red. So actually, first of all, let's go to our CSS. Let's go to our CSS, and let's have text red as a class, and we want to make the font color as red, so we'll do color red. And let's go back to our code, and we want to apply this only if the tab is actually if the current tab that we are in is equal to the store.tabs.current. If the current one, if this tab is the current one, then we want to make it red. So in order to do this, we'll just do tab is equal to store.tabs.current, and we will have a question mark, and if it is, then we will apply the text red. We have to do this in a string, by the way. So if it's not, then we'll just colon, and then if it's not, we're just not gonna use any class. So now, as you can see, the first one is red because the first one is currently selected. So the current tab is first, and then if you click on the second one, the current tab is second. If we click on the first one back again, first, and if we click on the third one, as you can see, it changes thanks to global states. So it's very simple. Now we can basically use this global state anywhere on this web page, and we have access to this shared state. Okay, so now let's move on.